We talk so much about how the expense of just about everything continues to climb and it puts more and more stress on everyone. So, the idea of being able to be a homeowner feels out of reach for a lot of people, but there are ways to make that dream a reality. We want to bring in Nora Guerra, Senior Vice President of Community Lending with Guild Mortgage, to talk more about an event to help empower people and just Nor just what people need to know to make this dream closer to a reality, even in a really difficult economic environment. Thanks for your time.
Appreciate being here.
What would you want people to know first and foremost about where we are and how to start putting yourself maybe in the position to move towards realizing a goal like that?
Yeah, I think the first step is always learning financial literacy. There's a gap in our housing industry, and I really identified that with a lot of our data and analytics, especially in my strategies. And it's really teaching that homeowner what it's going to take to become mortgage ready. And a lot of that really stems back into these financial literacy readiness fairs that my organization and I put together. And it's bringing the housing ecosystem to the communities we serve, bringing that HUD counselor, bringing our loan officers that have these amazing programs, bringing that down payment assistance partner. And, I'm so privileged. We've been partnering with FICO to teach credit worthiness and credit readiness to the communities that we serve.
You mentioned the homeownership readiness event, the free event that you hosted. What were some of the key questions you heard come up most often as you were talking with people?
The first step and one of the biggest questions we get asked is, where do I begin? How do I start this journey? And what is it going to take for me to be able to achieve this dream of homeownership? And I have to be honest, it's actually quite an easy step. However, there's a lot of myths out there. So dispelling the myth is really important. The first step is reach out to our loan officers, to our guild loan officers. Let's get you pre-qualified. Let's see if you are ready to become a homeowner. And if you're not, that's okay. And I love to say that that's okay because these resources that we bring together at these home buyer fairs is really that HUD counselor that can't wait to help that buyer become mortgage ready. So starting with bringing your documents to these events and getting pre-qualified, that's such a great step.
And sometimes it's thinking quite a bit out. Sometimes it's what do I need to do now to put myself in a position in 2 years to be able to take that
Yeah.
step, because it can take some time to build up what you need to finally be able to open the door.
Oh, absolutely. And there's so many barriers to homeownership and dispelling those myths. There's so many resources out there, not just, when it comes to becoming mortgage ready. I also think of one of the bigger challenges is down payment. A lot of these buyers may not have, that larger down payment, and that's okay as well. There's so many amazing programs in Georgia for Georgians. And I think of, the Georgia Dream. I think of the Clayton County Down Payment Assistance Program. I've got a fantastic FHA Zero Down program that has really been helping these potential home buyers become homeowners. And I think that's really important is to share the resources that are out there and really dispel that myth. And let me tell you, it is going to take a bit, for a buyer that's not mortgage ready, but we have amazing HUD counselors that can't wait to help these Georgians become homeowners.
You make a great point, because I think a lot of people don't know all the resources that may be available to help them be in that position. And we're talking about such an important investment, the biggest investment most people make in their lives, and a real key to generational wealth and maybe breaking a cycle of poverty. And there is this home ownership gap that is big, and it is particularly around underserved communities. How important is this to closing that gap?
Oh, it's my career's worth passion, identifying accretive markets that can help a potential home buyer. So I think of different strategies such as maybe migration. You may not be able to live in an urban city, so maybe migrating outside of suburban and maybe into a little bit of rural may be able to help you accumulate that generational wealth. And sometimes, and I think of millennials, remote work is really a great strategy and an impact for them to be able to achieve home ownership. So there's so many different ways that we can help home buyers better understand how to overcome those challenges. And let me tell you, closing the wealth gap, especially in Georgia, is extremely important. And we all need to, be mindful of the housing challenges and come up with solutions to be able to help many of the local residents to be able to become homeowners and not just historical renters.
Yeah, as we watch home affordability continue to be a big talking point all around Metro Atlanta, but really around the country. What we used to talk about as a starter home, I talk about this with my friends all the time. There's really no such thing. It used to be you could find an affordable home and people would say, well, that's your starter home. But when the averages are in the 350s or higher, it's a very different conversation. And I think I was reading that the average age for first time home buyers is closer to 40 now. Is that something you're seeing as well?
It is, yeah. And I work with NAR, National Association of Realtors, their economist, Dr. Jessica Louth. She's fantastic. And she put out that research, and we are definitely seeing that age demographic be a little older. And, there has been a pause within the millennial, age, and think of this, they're creating household formation. So they're getting married, they're having children, yet they're still renting. So, helping with these home buyer fairs and providing the resource, the financial literacy. I'm an ambassador to Freddie Mac's award-winning Credit Smart curriculum, financial literacy curriculum. And, I travel the country putting these events together. And Georgia is a priority state for me and my organization. We just really see the need, and we want to support local residents, that really want to achieve that dream of homeownership. So this age demographic really needs all the help we can give them, and I can't wait to be a resource.
Yeah, the resources and the help so important because you were talking about rent, and immediately I'm thinking about rent prices are also as high as we've ever seen them. In fact, when I hear anecdotally people I work with talking about what they pay in rent, that would be what someone was paying for a mortgage even now or a few years ago. So being able to pay those rent prices and still save for a home, you understand why the resources and the help are perhaps more important now than ever.
Oh, absolutely. And, I have conversations with consumers all the time. And the first thing they bring up is, Nora, but the interest rate. And I say, how much are you paying in rent? Let's compare that to a principal interest. PITI, which principal interest, taxes and insurance payment. And, let's compare that to how much you're paying in rent. And in most markets, we're seeing it's almost equivalent or maybe a little higher, but they can make a sacrifice and be able to make that mortgage payment and of course accumulate wealth. We want home buyers to accumulate wealth and close the wealth gap. And how I definitely think knowledge is power. Financial literacy teaches you how to accumulate wealth and how to invest for future generations. But I also think coming to these events helps you with a plan. You're definitely leaving with strategy on, if you're mortgage ready, let's move forward. Let's partner you up with an agent. But if you're not mortgage ready, let's get you on that path to homeownership.
Well, be sure and let us know as you have more of these homeowner readiness events. Appreciate the work you're doing out there to make sure people have every opportunity they can to be a homeowner. Nora Guerra, thanks so much with Guild Mortgage. We really appreciate the time.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the time.